Hello and welcome to my channel We Learn by Sharun. I am Shraddha Banode, working as assistant professor in Electrical Engineering Department of St. Vincent Pallotti College of Engineering and Technology. In this series, we are learning synchronous machines as a coursework of Electrical Machines 2 5th semester. In today's session, we are going to discuss determination of voltage regulation by Pottier triangle method. In my last video, I explained you about determination of voltage regulation by synchronous impedance method or EMF method. Now, synchronous impedance method or EMF method have certain advantages and disadvantages. So we will see those also why we need to use Pottier triangle method instead of synchronous impedance method. If you find the content of my videos useful, please give a thumbs up and share this video with others so that this video can help other students also to learn the concepts of electrical machines. Subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos related to electrical machines and press the bell button right next to it. So, let's get started. First of all, we will see advantages of synchronous impedance method. If you have not seen my last video in which I explained you the synchronous impedance method to find out voltage regulation, the link is there in the description box. Okay, now the main advantage of the synchronous impedance method is that you can calculate voltage regulation for any load condition if you know the synchronous impedance. Also, you can find out voltage regulation at any load at any power factor. Other advantage of this method is that you need not actually connect load to get the regulation, and hence this method is useful for high capacity alternator because you know that mostly the alternators are of very high range, 100 MVA to 500 MVA. So actually loading the alternators are not practically possible. So that is why synchronous impedance method can give you the regulation value without actually loading the alternator. That is the advantage of synchronous impedance method. But this method have certain drawbacks as well. Now, what are those drawbacks? Very first drawback is that this method is not accurate method. Okay, the value of synchronous reactance value we get in this method is the combination of XL and XA, that is leakage reactance as well as armature reaction reactance. And that is why the value of ZS is found to be more than what the value of ZS should be under normal voltage condition and saturation. And hence, the value of voltage regulation obtained by this method, that is synchronous impedance method, is always more than the actual value. And that is why this method of finding voltage regulation is also called as pessimistic method. Okay, so then what is the alternative? Other method and more accurate method to find out voltage regulation is zero power factor method or Pottier triangle method, or also it is called as Pottier reactance method. Now let's see what it is all about. In operation of any alternator, the armature resistance drop, that is IARA, and armature leakage reactance drop, that is IAXL, are EMF quantities, while the armature reaction is basically MMF quantity. Now what happens in impedance, a synchronous impedance method is all three are taken as EMF quantity, and that is why we get more EMF induced than usual and more voltage regulation than usual. In ZPF method, drops because of EMF quantities, that is IARA and IAXL, are separated from MMF drop, that is armature reaction drop. Hence, leakage reactance so obtained is also called as Pottier reactance. And this method is also called as Pottier reactance method. To determine the armature leakage reactance and armature reaction MMF separately, we need following tests to be performed on the alternator. Out of these three tests, open circuit test and short circuit test will be as it is as we performed before for synchronous impedance method. And also we need to perform third test, that is zero power factor test, to get the zero power factor characteristics. Okay. Now zero power factor characteristics. Basically, ZPFC of an alternator gives the variation of terminal voltage with field current exactly like OCC and SCC. But the condition is that the alternator is delivering its full rated current to zero power factor lagging load. To zero power factor lagging load means pure inductive load. Now this characteristics is obtained by running the machine at synchronous speed and connecting a pure inductive load across its terminal. Okay, previously in open circuit short circuit test, what we used to do, we vary the field current, accordingly we get change in voltage or armature current, and we note down and we accordingly plot the graph. For zero power factor characteristics, what you need to do is you need to change the load at every step, and you need to maintain the armature current constant with the help of field current. So you will adjust the field current so that every time the load is changing, the armature current should be constant. And hence you will note down the terminal voltage as well as field current. This is the experimental setup of ZPFC method. So here you will find this is the field circuit of alternator F1, F2. Between this field winding is connected, and to this field winding DC supply is connected through an ammeter and a potentiometer. Now this potential divider will basically help us vary the current and voltage which is given to the field circuit. This is the stator of the alternator. This is the armature winding. This is the star connected armature winding. Okay, to this star connected armature winding, this three phase inductive, pure inductive load is connected. To this armature winding, this three phase pure inductive load is connected through this switch S. Now prime mover will be there to give the mechanical energy. In our laboratory setup, as we use DC motor as prime mover, DC motor gives the mechanical energy to the alternator, and alternator moves. Field circuit is there to give the magnetization, and hence the EMF get induced. When we connect a load, we get current flowing through the load. Okay, now this is the experimental setup. Now this is what is the curve you are going to plot to get the value of XL through ZPFC. We are plotting a graph between terminal voltage to field current. Okay, now this is terminal voltage or induced EMF, you can say, on the same y-axis, while field current on the x-axis. Okay, now I'll tell you how to draw it step by step. Very first thing you will do is you will take x-axis as IF field current and y-axis at terminal voltage or induced voltage. Okay, and y-axis as terminal voltage or induced EMF per phase. Now what is the next thing you are going to do is you are going to plot OCC. So from the open circuit test data, you will plot OCC here. Okay, that will be third step. You will plot OCC from the open circuit data, open circuit test data. Next step is to get this A. Okay, we need to locate this A point on x-axis, and to locate this A point on x-axis, what we need field current value for the rated current. Like for example, we need to plot the ZPFC for rated current, and let's say the rated current is 4.5. So we will see the IF from short circuit test. Now we will refer short circuit test. We have performed short circuit test as well. So now we will refer to short circuit data, and we will get the value of IF which gives us rated current. It means that IF value corresponding to rated current. Suppose we get we get 0.4 ampere is the field current for which you are getting rated current. So at that particular IF value, you will locate this point A. So this will be locating point A will be our fourth step. Locating point A will be our fourth step. Now what is next? Next we need to plot ZPFC, that is zero power factor characteristics. So that data we will get from the experimental setup I have just shown you, and when we will perform the practical. So terminal voltage with respect to varying field current we are going to plot here. So let's say these are the points what we are getting from the experimental setup, and we will plot ZPFC. So once we get this point, we will join these points and we will draw this full load zero power factor saturation curve. Okay. Now you have used the data from OCC, SCC as well as ZPFC. Now how to proceed? Now for example, you need to find out regulation at rated voltage and rated current. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll locate this point P, which refers to rated terminal voltage VPH. Okay, I locate this point P. This will be my, okay. So fifth step is to draw ZPFC. Fifth step is to draw ZPFC. Okay. Now sixth step is to locate point P at rated terminal voltage. Okay. Sixth step is to locate point P on ZPFC, that is rated terminal voltage, on which we need to find out, for which we need to find out regulation. Now what we will do, we will draw a horizontal line from point P parallel to x-axis. Okay, we will draw a parallel line, we will draw a horizontal line from point P parallel to x-axis, and the length will be equals to OA. Yes, the length will be equals to OA. And the length will be equals to OA. Yes, the length will be equals to OA. So I can write down here that I'll have PQ, that is a horizontal line parallel to x-axis, equals to OA. The length will be equals to OA, right? Now, what is the next step? Next step is you will draw an air line tangent to OCC. So this is your seventh step, to draw PQ equals to OA. Okay. Now what is next step? Next step we will draw is this air line tangent to OCC. Now how we draw tangent to OCC? So we always take first 2 points of the curve and we draw a straight line, and that will be tangent to OCC. Okay. So we will draw this tangent to OCC, that is our eighth step. And then what we will do, from this Q point, PQ, which is equals to OA, from this Q point we will draw a line parallel to air line. From point Q we will draw a line which is parallel to air line, and this will meet OCC at point R. And this will meet OCC at point R. This will be our ninth step. From Q we will draw parallel to air line which will meet OCC at R. Okay. Now this PQR, these 3 points, when you join together, we get Portier triangle. So this is our Portier triangle. Okay. We will draw perpendicular from R on PQ, which will meet PQ at S. Okay. We will draw a perpendicular from point R on PQ, which will meet PQ at S. Now this will be our 10th step. So after this 10th step, now I'll tell you from how we will get leakage reactance. So basically this RS, the perpendicular we just dropped, this RS is nothing but equals to EMF drop because of leakage reactance. This RS, the length of RS is equals to voltage drop across leakage reactance. Now what is voltage drop across leakage reactance? It is IAXL. Now if we are solving this, if we have drawn this ZPFC for rated current, so we know the value of rated current, and if we just divide the length of RS, that is obviously we will according to scale we will get the value of RS in terms of voltage from the graph, and then when we will divide it with IA, we will get the value of XL. We will get the value of XL. Is that clear? Now, few important points you need to remember here is that RS is the EMF, RS is the voltage drop because of leakage reactance, from which you can easily get the value of leakage reactance. Second point, what is length QS? Now, length QS is the field current required to overcome the effect of leakage reactance. What is QS? QS is the field current required overcome to overcome the effect of leakage reactance. What is SP? SP is the field current required to overcome the effect of armature reaction. I repeat, SP is the field current required to overcome the effect of armature reaction. I hope this thing is clear. We will also have one problem on Portier triangle method, so that you can understand completely how to draw this Portier triangle and how to get reactance out of it and how to get regulation out of it. Secondly, we also have a practical on this Portier triangle method. In that also I'll explain you everything step by step, how to plot this on graph and how to calculate voltage regulation. Okay, clear? Great. So whatever I explained you here, same thing have been given here on this slide as well. So you can, if you want, you can quickly go through this. I'll just highlight few important points which I already told you. So first of all, you will plot open circuit characteristics on graph. Second step is to locate the point A on the graph, and then you will draw ZPFC, and then we will locate a point P on the graph, which is the rated voltage on ZPFC. We will draw a tangent to OCC. Then we'll have horizontal line PQ, which will be equals to OA, right? And then from point Q we will draw a parallel to air line which will meet OCC at point R. We need to join RQ and join PR, and we will get a triangle which is PQR, called as Portier triangle. So same thing, whatever I explained you there have been mentioned here. Okay. Now next, from point R we will drop a perpendicular. So from point R, you will drop a perpendicular on PQ, which will meet PQ at point S. Okay. And now this perpendicular RS gives us armature leakage reactance drop, that is IAXL. Right. And this length PS gives the field current necessary to overcome demagnetization effect of the armature reaction. I told you PS is the field current required to nullify the effect of armature reaction. SQ represents the field current which is required to induce an extra EMF for balancing the leakage reactance drop, that is IAXL. Okay. And we know that RS is equals to IAXL, and from this you can get the value of XL, where XL is equals to RS upon IA, and IA value is known to us. Clear? So this is how you can get leakage reactance by using zero power factor characteristics. Now once you get the value of XL, you know how to draw phasor diagram and you know the phasor relation between this. So we will see the phasor diagram once again. So you just need to draw first of all terminal voltage as reference. So you need to draw this terminal voltage as reference. Then you will draw current IA, which will be lagging voltage by an angle phi. Then you will be drawing IA RA, which will be in phase with I, but we will draw it from VPH. Then we will draw IA XL, which will be perpendicular to I, but it will be drawn from IARA. And then we will have phasor sum of this VPH, IARA and IAXL to give us EMF induced even pH. Now this even pH is nothing but EMF induced per phase, considering the leakage reactance drop but excluding the armature reaction effect. Clear? If things are clear to you, you can give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos, and press that bell button right next to it. That's important. Okay. So thank you and happy learning.